Today I'll be trying to solve a problem that has plagued many of my PlayStation 5 control pads since around a year into owning my PS5, and that problem is stick drift. This is where the analog thumbsticks of your control pad either stop responding or feel like they have a mind of their own. Many of you may have had the same issue, which seems almost unnoticeable at first, but gets worse as time goes on, really affecting gameplay, with it becoming harder to target opponents in first-person shooters such as Call of Duty or Battlefield, and driving games where you start to get an annoying snap to the steering controls that veers you straight into a wall or off the track. Stick drift can even be seen within in-game menus when it becomes really bad, as shown here, with the stick only being pushed right, but the stick is pulling back to the left. In the past I've simply just bought new controllers, but this starts to become expensive, with pads being upwards of £60 a time, if there are no deals on. So after a bit of research and taking a few controllers apart, I think I've found a couple of simple fixes that can prolong the life of your controllers, along with a more permanent fix which I'll share towards the end of the video. There are a couple of really simple fixes for stick drift on some control pads, but these didn't work for me. The first thing to try is resetting the controller with a paperclip or sim pin. This is done by inserting the pin into the hole on the back of the controller and holding for a few seconds. Along with this, you can also check for any updates to the controller firmware through your PS5, as this occasionally affects the functionality of the pad. The second quick fix is to press down on the control sticks and rotate them both clockwise and anti-clockwise a few times to release any debris or dust and dirt that may be restricting the movement of the sticks. But bear in mind this debris will only fall into the pad and could build up, causing later issues. Using an air duster down the side of the sticks can also have the same effect. The third fix, and the one that worked for me, and so is the main focus of this video, is to clean or replace the internal switches of the analog sticks, which I found to be my issue. I'll show you the process of taking the controls apart, as well as the steps to resolve the issue, along with some testing software to see the extent of stick drift on your own control pads. First off, to check the level of stick drift on your pad, and how bad the issue actually is, go to Gamepad Tester on a PC or Mac, which can be found at hardwaretester.com/gamepad. From here you can connect your PS5 pad using a USB Type-C cable and identify any stick drift on your analog sticks, as well as any issues you may have with buttons or triggers on the pad. All you need to do once connected is press each button in turn to see the on-screen response and circle the analog sticks to see their full range of movement and consistency in each direction. Here you can see that my left stick is pulling to the left, which is consistent with my in-game experience. You can also see that the average error is at 14.9% on the left stick and 9.9% on the right, with brand new pads usually showing around 7 to 8%. Now I'll go through the step-by-step disassembly of the pad, allowing you to gain access to the switches, to either clean or replace, just using some basic tools. I used a couple of small screwdrivers, a Phillips head and a flathead, along with a pair of tweezers to remove any tiny ribbon cables or components. The first step is to unclip the inside trim of the controller using the flathead screwdriver, starting at the bottom and working your way up towards the main body of the pad. Next is to pop off the L1 and R1 buttons to access the screws, and remove these along with the two screws at the bottom of the hand grips. There are then 4 clips to release to be able to remove the back of the controller. These can be a bit tricky to release the first time around. Also be careful to not snap any of the clips. This then reveals the battery, which you can disconnect from the pad, and remove the battery holder by removing the single screw in the middle. We then have 4 ribbon cables connected to the main board. Disconnect these, but again be careful as these can be quite tricky to remove. This is where the tweezers came in handy. Once disconnected, the main board can be flipped over to access the analog sticks, allowing the joysticks to be removed. Now we can clearly see the switches that are causing us the problems. Each stick has 4 switches, one for each direction of up, down, left and right. The green covers that hold the switches in place can now be popped open, but be really careful not to damage these as they are only attached with a fairly small, fragile plastic hinge at the bottom. Once opened, we can remove the white micro switches and clean down with a cotton bud and some cleaning solution to remove any dirt, grime or debris. If you find the switches to be damaged, you can replace them at this point, or even replace the whole switch unit, which I have done on another pad, but this does require some soldering work, but also allows the switches to replace with metal versions rather than plastic for longer life and increased durability. Once you are happy with the repair or clean, and are ready to test, then all you have to do is repeat the disassembly steps in reverse order to put your pad back together. This is where re-watching parts of this video might help if you've forgotten where some components go. I'll mark these as separate chapters in the video. For the reassembly, start with making sure the switches are fully closed and seated correctly. Drop the silicone joystick covers back on and flip the main board back in place. Reconnect the 4 ribbon cables. Screw the battery cover back in place before replacing the battery back in position and reconnecting. Replace the back of the pad, making sure everything clips back in place, and also be sure not to trap any cables in the housing of the pad, as these would need fully replacing or some skilled soldering. You can check the movement of the analog sticks at this point to make sure the movement feels normal with no restrictions. Screw the 4 screws back in place, 2 under where L1 and R1 are positioned, and 2 at the base of the hand grips. Click your L1 and R1 buttons back in place. Clip in the black front cover, and we should be all done. And then plug back into your Mac or PC and test the pad on the gamepad tester websites. Hopefully you should see a big improvement on the average movement error from the pad. As you can see here, my right stick has reduced from 9.9% to 7.9%, and this stick wasn't really giving me a problem in the first place. But the big win here was on the left stick, reducing from 14.9% to 8.5%, and no longer causing any issues in game. And that's it, you've come to the end of this video. I hope it's been useful. Thanks for watching, and please leave a like rating and consider subscribing. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Until next time.